I'm Sergeant Patricia Grant with the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office Special Events Division, which also includes the Marine Unit. We are joined here today by several law enforcement partners. Every year at the start of boating season, we announce an amplified enforcement activity that will take place the next few months on our waterways to protect manatees and to reinforce the importance of safe boating. Some of these law enforcement agencies' vessels are clearly marked and some are not, but you'll see the lights and hear the sirens as they approach you. We will be out enforcing slow speed zones, manatee zones, and of course all applicable laws, such as boating under the influence. Federal fines range from $125 to $25,000 and or 6 months imprisonment under the Endangered Species Act. The United States Fish and Wildlife Service is the principal federal agency responsible for this protection enforcement activity. I would like to begin by thanking Jim Suber, the city's dockmaster, and our representative from the mayor's office for being here today. Also joining us this morning is Dr. Quentin White and Dr. Jerry Pinto from Jacksonville University, respected biologists and marine scientists, and great advocates for our beautiful waterways. We also have Chief Warrant Officer 2 Nicholas Talbot from the United States Coast Guard, Charles Underwood from the United States Fish and Wildlife Service, Lieutenant Paul Arkins, and marine biologist Nadia Gordon from the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. We also have Marine Officer Ken Clements from Nassau County Sheriff's Office Marine Unit, and Monica Ross Johnson from the Sea to Shore Alliance. This is the River City, and with approximately 30,000 registered boaters in Duval County and 1,000 more visiting our area and using our waterways, protecting this great asset is a part of protecting our quality of life. As many of you know, Jacksonville is home to a large population of manatees, and we want to be extremely careful to make sure that they are not injured or killed. These endangered species are easy to spot if waterway speed limits are obeyed. With little caution and low speed, boaters can avoid striking and possibly killing the endangered creatures. So far this year, there has already been one watercraft-related manatee death. Last year in 2015, there was only one watercraft-related manatee death in Jacksonville's waters. With your help, we hope to educate the public about manatee zones and the importance of slowing down so that this number does not increase. We view our waterways as a great regional asset and appreciate another opportunity to enforce the law without borders and working with these trusted partners. Some additional factoids. Duval County has approximately 125 square miles of navigable waterway. Our education and enforcement efforts will take place throughout the waterways, including the Intercoastal and Sisters Creek. In 2015, there were 6 joint manatee protection deployments with JSO Marine Unit, FWC, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and the United States Coast Guard. In addition to the joint efforts of our partners, our Marine Unit also conducted 52 manatee protection deployments on its own in 2015. This is in an effort to ensure that the public is continuously reminded of the manatee slow speed zone. Okay, we have some brochures to share with the media representative here today, and we ask that you take these back to your stations and post them to your website. Also, the media advisory has included some links to some important information. Of course, our website, www.jaxsheriff.org, will have a manatee enforcement page up to date with the same information. Next, I would like to open up to our partners to say a few words. Dr. Quentin White.
Good morning. Thank you, Sergeant. This is sort of the unofficial start of boating season, Memorial Day right around the corner. And we want to encourage people to watch out for manatees. The water's warming up. Once it gets over about 68 degrees, manatees return to the area. And so we want to encourage people to slow down when you're near shore. Watch for the manatee protection zone. Wear polarized sunglasses so that you can reduce the glare in the water and As the manatee comes to the surface to breathe, and then as it begins to dive, the tail will make a swirling motion. You want to do that. You also want to be careful when you see a manatee that you do not do anything to feed it or provide water, to try to touch it, to get in the water with it, or to use your boat to try to follow it along. If you're watching a manatee and you're not moving, you're fine. But do not try to feed, water, or touch or harass a manatee in any way. When they see you doing that, you're subject to a fine. Again, this is a wonderful time of the year with water warming up, manatees are returning to the area, so be alert, pay attention, and watch out for manatees. I'm going to turn over to Dr. Jerry Pinto and talk a little bit about the population of manatees and what we're doing to sort of track where they are and what they're doing. Dr. Pinto.
Thank you. I'm Jerry Pinto from Drexel University, and I take part in manatee area survey. This time of year, we have a lot of manatees coming back to the area. We can have potentially from 300 to 400 manatees in the area. It's very important to keep an eye out for them, especially in tributaries, shallow areas, and close to shore. So we ask the public to, as Dr. White said, make sure you wear your polarized sunglasses and look for those swirls, and do not engage or lead or get close to manatees. If you can, a group of manatees out there in the water, go ahead and get on the radio and let other people know that they're there, so everybody can keep an eye out there in the instant stage. Thank you very much.
Good morning. I'm Nadia with FWC's Marine Mammal Section. Since 1974, mortality statistics for the Florida manatees have been collected. Researchers determine the number of manatee deaths in each Florida county and the cause of death for each carcass. Analysis of the data allows for tracking and changes of trends in the mortality throughout the years. And all of this information can be viewed at myfwc.com. FWC has 5 field labs throughout the state, with the main marine mammal pathobiology lab being located in St. Petersburg. Carcasses are salvaged and animal autopsies, known as necropsies, are performed. In 2015, there was one acute watercraft carcass recovered in Duval near the James Point Bridge. The field ID on this animal was MNE 01533. This was a known animal and a regular at Blue Springs State Park. She was originally rescued in 1999 due to an entanglement on her pectoral flipper. We were able to identify her from the small personal identification transponders that she had been outfitted with. However, in many cases, manatees can actually be identified by the watercraft scar patterns on their backs. To date, for 2016, FWC has recovered 6 carcasses. 1 was watercraft, 3 were cold stress, and 2 were undetermined. Now, in many cases with undetermined, that can be due to too much decomposition. The FWC also responds to animals in need of rescue and is asking for reports of injured, distressed, or tagged manatees. Satellite tagging is used by many organizations such as Sea to Shore Alliance, USGS, and FWC to better understand manatee movements, behavior, and habitat. These tags, which we have a sample here today that Cheyenne is holding, and this is Allison, but the tags are cylindrical or can be bulbous in size and are round. There's a belt on the base of the manatee's tail. If the animal were to get entangled, it does have a breakaway release system so that the animal can swim freely away. Or if individuals try to remove the tag, just remember it is a satellite tracking tag and we are able to track it. So when you see a tagged manatee, we ask individuals to call the hotline, do not approach, do not touch the animal, and there is actually a tracking study that is going to be going on in Georgia this year, so many animals will be tagged, so it won't be uncommon to see tagged manatees in our water. So again, if you see them, please stay back, don't touch them, but please call the hotline as we are interested in those sightings. Now the number to call and report manatees is the Law Enforcement Dispatch Hotline, which is 1-888-404-3922, or star FWC on your cell phone, hit 7, and it takes you right to a dispatcher. Thank you.
Good morning, distinguished guests and members of the media. My name is Lieutenant Paul Arkin. I'm
I'm with the Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission and a supervisor in Duval and Nassau County. The manatee has been in Florida for a long time. 45 million-year-old fossils in the manatee family have been found in Florida. In 1893, the first laws were passed protecting manatees, making it illegal to hunt them. During this time, poaching was very common. The first reports of collisions with a manatee were reported in 1943. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission's responsibility in protecting manatees is to adopt rules to regulate operation and speed of vessel traffic, as well as establishing rules pertaining to manatee habitats. The FWC rules regulating vessels establishes idle speed zones, slow speed zones, motorboat prohibited zones, no entry zones, and maximum 25 mile per hour zones. This is just a sample of a sign of what one of the zones looks like. In 2015 through today, officers with the Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission have provided 5,973 hours of patrol in Duval and Nassau County in manatee zones. I'll reiterate, there has been only one manatee death last year and so far one this year due to a collision with vessels. It is my belief that the officers' presence in these zones has helped greatly reducing the amount of manatee vessel collisions. What does the public do if they see a dead, injured, or harassed manatee? Again, the number is 1-888-404-FWCC. The Jacksonville Regional Communications Center number is 904-359-6585. Also, damaged manatee buoys, the number for that is 866-405-BUOY, B-U-O-Y. Thank you for your time. Any members of the media that would like to get some footage on the water after this, please see me and we'll be happy to accommodate you.
Wildlife Service. I'm here to represent the service as part of the Department of Justice behind me. A federal agency that is mandated to work on recovery of the Florida man. It is a very daunting task. We have support of local law enforcement, local individuals, a public voting public who could not be impacted. Also, those efforts earlier this year, the Fish and Wildlife Service proposed to classify the manatee on the list of endangered and threatened species from endangered and threatened. One aspect of that is, though, that remain protections stay in place. Everything is out there, everything these folks are out there to enforce are still enforceable. Remain enforceable. They are holding protection today.
Good morning. In conjunction with FWC and FWS, the United States Coast Guard, will be on the water this summer patrolling manatee zones. We encourage you to follow the signage, follow the speed restrictions to keep our environment safe. Working with our federal, state, and local partners, as we approach the safe boating, or as we approach boating season, we also encourage everybody to abide by the boat speeding safety laws and federal regulations as they apply to the personnel on board to keep the boats safe. We encourage everybody to get their boat inspected by the Coast Guard Auxiliary, a safety inspection. We encourage everybody to carry a life jacket, the size of the people on board for everybody on board, as well as other federal and state safety regulations. I want to thank everybody out there watching, and hopefully we have a safe boating season for people on board and that of the environment as well. Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like to say anything? Thank you guys for coming out today and for helping us get the word out about this public awareness campaign. We'll be answer any questions at this time.
So there was one this year, one last year. How are we doing as far as like compared to the last decade? As far as mortality of manatee?
Well, in 2014, there were 0 related watercraft manatee deaths. 2013, there was 4. And then in 2009, there were 8. So it seems like we're doing all of our enforcement efforts and getting together with our different partners is making a great difference. Dr. Pinto, Dr. White, you guys want to?
Any other questions? If someone does hit a manatee and moves the manatee, who do they call?
If someone hits or moves a manatee, come on, Dr.
If somebody hits a manatee, they can call the hotline number that I gave earlier. You need me to repeat it?
Yeah, yeah, for me. Sorry.
It could either be star FWC or pound up FWC, and the number is 1-888-404-FWCC.
Going on that question as well, what is the penalty?
It just depends on what happens during that specific incident. Most of the time, they're by accident. A lot depends, like if the operator of the vessel is operating recklessly, if we have to investigate that. But it just depends each specific incident. Okay.
Let me point out something too. You're talking about if you hit a manatee, you think about oftentimes it's a boat with a motor. You point out the personal watercraft operator, they are just as deadly to the manatee as a boat with propeller. It's that blunt thrust trauma that will actually kill the manatee. And going as slow as 14 miles an hour will kill a manatee. So a lot of times people operating personal watercraft think that they don't, because they have no propeller, they're fine to operate close into shore. They need to obey the same rules as everybody else on the water.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much. For those that are riding out, that are going to ride on the boats, we have maybe about 4 boats or vessels that you guys can hop on.